Hey friends, so I'm here today and I'm going to be repotting some of my Euphorbia specimen plants. For the most part, it's a beautiful sunny day. It's been quiet. It feels like spring here, which is lovely. So I figured I would bring these plants out. Now, normally these are plants that I do bring outside. They're not cold hardy, so I bring them indoors in the fall and the winter months. And as soon as it starts to warm up, say about 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius, I'm gonna start putting these out. But you'll see that I have a heck of a time trying to water these plants. It's almost near impossible because they've outgrown their container. And I'm going to use these containers, which are basically just cache pots, so they're in like a plastic nursery pot on the inside. So I haven't tried to take these out yet, but I really want to be using these 3 containers for 3 more plants, because that's how it goes. You free up space, and then you get 3 more plants to take that space, and all of a sudden you have 6 plants. These euphorbias tend to pup out. So they have all these little offsets, every single one of them. So this is a Euphorbia horrida. This is a Euphorbia seriformis. And this is the Tanzanian zipper cactus, which is anoplea, so Euphorbia anoplea. And they are called Tanzanian zipper cactus, African milk barrel cactus, that type of thing, but they aren't cacti. They're native to different parts of Africa, and they have developed a very similar structure to cacti, but these would technically be considered succulents, but not cacti because they have a completely different morphology. I don't know how I'm going to take these out. To be perfectly frank, but
you're going to need some big gloves.
I have these gloves, and I have this. This is probably not going to sound great on camera, but this bubble paper that maybe I could put them on, and because I don't really want to break any of these spines. Now the zipper cactus doesn't have that many spines, but the seriformis and the horrida does. Really like to not damage them so much. And you'll see that I have some pots already picked out, and I got fluted pots. They go up like this because this will give them a bit more space. We will fertilize them as well. It's pretty much one of the times that I fertilize them. So here we go. This is the pot that it was in. And I'm going to be reusing this. And I'm going to be reusing this black pot as well. So I like the idea of using that as a cache pot. I have some bird feathers on this because I keep this in Peepo and Tutu's coop, my little diamond doves. So you could see that they're sitting there. And then look at this little offset coming right there. So you could see how that's starting to form, and it just needs a bit more space, as you could see. So let me kind of put this here. And I'm going to use Espoma organic cactus mix. I have some perlite as well. I'm going to mix that in because I like to have a really nice well-draining mix. And I'm going to top it with some bonsai mix, and then maybe even some of this grit on top to make it look really pretty. Before I couldn't do that because they were really filling out their containers. Here's my generous helping of perlite. And this is just like a puffed volcanic stone, and it doesn't really provide any real nutrients or anything like that, but it does provide for very good drainage. And if you're going to have them outside and you're in a climate that is very humid, lots of rain, and you want to make sure that this has good drainage. Yeah, that's nice. This one still has quite a ways to grow, so that's why I didn't get 3 of these fluted pots. And these are Bergs pottery, by the way. It's one of the nice Italian-made pots. And I could pre-mix this. I didn't bring a mixing bowl, but that could be just as easy, if not easier, mixing some of this with your perlite, depending on how much grit you want. It's not quite warm enough to bring these outside yet, but I would say give it another 4 weeks, and I don't want to be caught off guard. I'm going to be outdoors with my plants, and I'd rather get all these indoor plants that are going to come outdoors ready to go, so I could just take their planters out and put them outside, set it and forget it. And of course, if you don't have an outdoor area or like a fire escape or a patio to put them on, then a really nice south-facing window will be perfectly fine. Similar to cacti, if they don't get enough light, they start to pucker in. So the more even light that you could give them, it's going to be good for them. All right, so I have a little bit of space on top, and I'm just going to add some of this bonsai mixture. So this is a kind of puffed clay and shale. So it's got a nice terracotta grayish beige color, which is pretty for most terracotta pots if you're going that route. This also helps protect the soil below. So this doesn't retain much water either. It's very well draining, so it is kind of like a gritty mix. But if you have it out and it's baking in the sun, this protects any of the coco coir or the peat-based material that you might be using below. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this gritty mix also on top. This has some lava stone in it as well. And then that way, this has a lot more room to grow. I'm gonna fertilize it as well, and I just came back from a cactus and succulent conference in Connecticut. We'll have a video on that soon, but there's some people there who totally keep their cacti and succulents very small. They tend not to fertilize them. And then you have the complete opposite party where you have somebody who wants big succulents. They tend to fertilize them regularly. So, you know, it just goes to show you that there's many ways that you could grow your succulents and they'll all be very fine. It just depends on how you want to grow them. It's pretty much done. I'm going to water thoroughly. And again, you're probably not going to overwater your plants if you have a really well draining mix. If you water more thoroughly, that water goes all the way down. It pulls oxygen down to the lowest roots. And that's normally where the plant pulls up the water and the nutrients. So there's that one. Let's go with the Horita. All right, this is, that one came right out. Because I can't water it, it's so dry. Here we go, let's see what it looks like. The roots look great though. Now it's starting to get a little bit of corking. You could see this around here where it starts to get dry. That's quite normal for a lot of succulents, but this is really, really dry. So this is gonna get a good watering. The thing is, if this is a peat-based version, then it gets super dry, it's hard to re-wet. So when you're watering this euphorbia, make sure you get really close. What I like about the fluted ones is you could water right here and it goes down the edges, especially if it's a large plant. But you want to get this, in fact, it's probably best if I soak this. All right, so I got a bowl because I want to rehydrate these. It was largely because I haven't been able to water these, so I'm gonna just hydrate this. And you could probably hydrate it for 15, 20 minutes. We're not gonna have that amount of time, but this is just a way to get that peat rehydrated. In the meantime, let's take a look at this one. And since that one just came out, let's see this one. Oh, look at that. Some extra little offsets are coming out here. This one is also very dry, so I'm gonna take this one. It's rehydrating nicely. And you will want to have gloves, and I would recommend even washing your gloves afterwards because these have a very toxic latex. And if you accidentally wipe your eye or put it in your mouth or anything like that, then you'll probably be very sorry. And it's very easy, like right now, like my nose is dripping a little bit, and so I have a tendency to do this, and you're kind of doing it subconsciously. So just be wary of that because most euphorbia have very toxic sap. Now, if you want, you could actually remove some of these offsets. Then you could just tear off one of these succulents just like this. It'll probably come with its own roots. And that's how I would recommend if that one has, if the offset has a little bit of its own roots, that's even better. And then you could just repot that, perfect for a plant swap or the like. But I really love how this looks with some really nice offsets coming off. And now it has room and space to grow. Press the soil in so that you don't have any air pockets. You may want to take a toothbrush or a paintbrush afterwards and just clean off some of the potting medium from the sides. Okay, I want to leave a little bit of room on the top for the bonsai mix on this one. I think I'll go full bonsai mix on this one because I really like how this terracotta looks with the bonsai mix. I didn't water any of these over the winter month, so this will have a much needed water and fertilize. Okay, I'm gonna give this fertilize and water. We'll move on to the last one. All right, we have this last one, which is the Tanzania zipper cactus. Again, it looks really nice. I'm of the belief that if this soil line is a little bit lower, because you're adding a layer on top, it should be fine. Let's water that in. This is a lot easier than I expected. I was dreading this because I was afraid that I was going to break one off. And there you have it. There's some of my beautiful euphorbia. I have took quite a liking to this genus. There's quite an array. They're very variable. I'm looking forward to collecting more. I have some pretty large varieties that I'll be bringing outdoors as well, probably within the next 4 weeks, and we'll get those fertilized. But another project is in the midst with the rest of these planters, but that will be a video for another time. Thanks so much, and I'll see you later. Bye. If you're craving to see plants in the wild and explore botanical gardens with friends in real life, then check out our small group botanical tours that we're doing throughout the world. In 2025, we'll be heading to Costa Rica, and we recently announced our Thailand trip in early 2026 with more trips along the way. Now, if the trips are sold out, just join the waitlist or fill in the survey to let us know where you'd like to go next. Just head over to homesteadbrooklyn.com, click on the Learn tab, and then you'll find botanical tours for more information. And while you're there, check out our suite of online houseplant courses from Houseplant Basics to the Houseplant Masterclass. You could find it all at homesteadbrooklyn.com. See you in the next video.